Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. What I'll be demonstrating today is how to use the REST API with Flow. What that basically means is how to create actions that are done programmatically using the REST API. And what I'll be demonstrating today is how to create a list in my Midnight Coder dev site by using Flow, and I'm going to be demonstrating that using the REST API. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is go into my Flow working area and click on Create. I'm going to be doing an instant flow because I'll be using a button. So I want to manually trigger the flow, and I'm going to be using this with the button. I'll select that. And what I'm going to be calling it is create list on any site. I'm going to click create. So I'll get a button called manually trigger flow, and I want to get certain input in order to create this list on a SharePoint site. So the first thing that I was thinking of adding is I'm going to click on add an input, and I want to create a text field. The text field I will call site URL. And I'll leave the text box as it is. I'm going to create actually two other inputs, so I'll add one, and I'm going to add another text field. The second text field is I want to have the input of the list name, so I'll call it list name. And the last one, I'm going to add an input and get another text field. And I'm going to want the list description. Okay, and then I'll go into a new step. And the REST API, in order to use that in Flow, I need send a HTTP request in my SharePoint. So if I type out send an HTTP request, and there we go, this is the one that I'm looking for. So this will allow us to do all kinds of custom actions using the REST API on SharePoint, and that's what we'll do. It's a way of programming certain custom actions on SharePoint. And what I'm going to want is I'm going to want to get the site URL, and I'm going to enter the custom value and select site URL, which will be what any user will be typing in as the site URL that they want to be worked to have the list created on. Selected. Just going to maximize my screen. The method will be a post because we're adding something new. And the URI, this is where it gets quite interesting. There's many different types. So I'm going to do a /_ API, and it always starts this way. Sometimes you need the backslash, and sometimes you don't. And I'm going to do another /web / and lists. Okay, then we're going to go into the headers part. And I need my content type. And then in the value, I'm going to put application /JSON. Then I need a semicolon and OData equals verbose. I'm going to copy that because I need it for my second header. And the key for my second header is accept. I'll tab into the enter value and I'll paste in the exact same value I have above. Next, for the body, this is where it gets interesting. So I always need to start everything with the open curly brackets and the close curly brackets. So I'll put those in first. And then I always need to open and close the JSON values, key value pairs. The first one will be underscore, or actually it's underscore twice, and metadata. I need to close the brackets, and I need a colon. I'll put a space. I need another open curly braces. And we need the type. And because it's a list, it will be sp.list. Then I know I need the allow content types. And it has to be true. The base template, which has to be, is 100 in this case. And the next thing I need is the description. I'll put open the brackets. They're single brackets, and then I'm going to take the list description that was entered by my user, close the bracket again, and then I'll put the title. I'll open the bracket and I'll grab the list name from whatever the user will be inputting. And I'll save. I'm not sure if it's going to do this, but usually if I save REST API code, sometimes it does not keep the last curly brace and the last closed parentheses. So Just going to do it again. I'll save a second time to try to prevent that, but it might actually give me an error the first time that I run it. So once that is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, or actually, yeah, I'll go back. I'll make sure that the status is on, and this I have to run directly from Flow. I'll go to my Midnight Coder dev site, click on the home page, and I'm going to copy the URL at the top. I'll go back to the flow I just created, and I'm going to go and press on Run. I will select Continue, and then it'll give me the 3 text boxes. So the first one I'll paste in the URL that I just copied. The second one, the list name that I want, and this will be, let's call it test list 1 from Flow. And the description I'll put in, this is a test list from Flow. And then I'll click on Run Flow. And as I said, it might fail the first time just because sometimes certain things are not kept. I got your flow ran successfully. And I'm just going to refresh. I see that it's running and it failed. That's what I was expecting. If I go to my send HTTP request, I'm just going to see the error, invalid JSON, a colon character is expected after the property name allow content type, so probably made an error. So allow content types, it's right here. Oh, okay, I put a double instead of a single quotes. I'm going to save that. I made a little typo. And I made another one here. I see that I have a double quote instead of a single quote. I'll just make sure that it kept it. And I'll test again. It's kind of tricky sometimes with the single and double quotes. And it worked. So if I now go to my Midnight Coder dev site, I'll refresh. And I will not see it in the quick launch list because even though it's created, I haven't created a link to it. So if I go to the settings and I go to the site contents, I should see, and there we are, test list from Flow. If I click on it, we'll see the list. So I hope you found this useful. I'm going to be, in my next video, I'm going to show how to create a link using Flow to the newly created a list. So I hope you found this interesting, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.